Hello students. Welcome to the part 2 of Introduction to Methods and Designing a Whole Class. I'm Shwari Roy, continuing the lecture. So we have used self variable, self word. This is not a keyword actually, this is just a word. We have used self word inside these methods, right? What if I don't want to use this self inside a method? Will it work? Yes, it will actually work. Self is not any keyword. This is just a word which will carry the address of your object. So instead of writing self, you can write anything just like this is a method, def speak, and inside the parameter, instead of writing self, I have written ss. You must write something inside the parameter to carry the address of your object, but this is not mandatory that you have to write self. Instead of self, you can write anything here. So then if you want to access the attributes of your class, you can just write one is ss. So ss dot name, which actually carries the address of your object, and dot name is actually the attribute, instance attribute, and says is a string, and then sound is also a parameter. This is a variable. So instead of writing self, you can write anything here, but this is not convention. To follow the convention, just like instead of writing method name, you can write capital D here, but this is not pure convention. Okay, it will not give you any error, but good to follow the conventions. Okay, we have already learned that we, instead of writing self, we can write anything here, but we'll always follow the convention. So I'm not changing this value. So I want to show you something else now. Just like I have already shown you, changing this object doesn't affect the other object, right? What if I want to make the scene like this? If I change object 1, this object 2 will automatically change. How can I do that? So to do that, I can just write obj1 equal obj2. This actually means this actually means that the memory address of obj1 will be equal to the memory address of obj2. That means I'm sharing the memory with each other. Now, if I want to write obj2 dot id number equal 5, and then I print obj1 dot id number, can you guess what will happen? See, I have changed the ID number of obj2, which is actually 5. It was initially 1. It was initially 1, right? So, and after changing this ID number, this is actually now 5. But when I am printing obj1 dot ID number, I have changed obj2 dot ID number, but I am printing obj1 dot ID number and it's showing me 5. That means if I am changing the value of object 2, this also apply to object 1 after I make this equal. Before that, it was not like that, right? If I change object 1, only the object 1 was changed. So why it is happening? It's happening because I have shared memory. This is called reference sharing. If I have written like this, that obj1.id number equal obj2.id number, I am just sharing the value, not the memory address. Now, if I want to change obj2.id number equal 5 and print obj1.id number, it will show me the previous ID number that I have written here. So let's see. So the ID number of object 2 was 12, right? Because we have set the value here. So when I have written obj1.id number equal obj2.id number, it's replacing the object 1's ID number with object 2's ID number, which was 12. So this value is 12, and after that, if I changed obj2.id number, it's not affecting obj1 because I have just shared value here, not the address. So this is actually address sharing, concept of address sharing and value sharing in between objects. So now, importing class module, you can just instead of writing all the class in one file, you can write the design class in another file and then call this class with your with another file. So to do that, what you can do is make an empty file called init.py in the same directory as the other files that will signify to Python that it's okay to improve from the directory. After that, in the main file where you want to import the other classes, you just need to write import user, import dir. Here, the user and dir is actually the file name of your class file. So you can just import these things and then you just use these files just like here user.user. I am creating an object one using this user file inside user class. So you can directly do that and it will to see how it works. You can see watch the supplementary videos for importing class. In the scenario 2, they have asked me to write a Python class book with following features. So I will write a Python class book. Inside the book class, there will be instance variable title, author, and price. And a constructor with parameters, it will set the value of the instance variables. So in the inside the constructor, def init, there will be parameters like title, author, and price. So title, author, and price. So I have already missed self here, so I can't do that. Inside the init constructor, you will set all the instance variable. Okay, so self dot title will equal to equal to title. Self dot author will equal to author. Self dot price will equal to price. So constructor is already done. Then instance method. What would be the instance method? Set title, set author, set price, and str method. So uh, there will be four methods: div set title, then div set author, then div set price. So they have already mentioned the parameters. So for the first method, there will be self and title. In the second, there will be self and author name. So they have already mentioned the functionalities of these methods used to set the title of book, author of book, price of book, and this method print out books details on the screen. So this will actually display all the information, and this methods will print. It will set the value. I mean, change the value, right? So in the subtitle, there will be self dot title equal title. So in case of set author, you can just write self dot author equal author, self dot price, and self dot author. So this is how I have already done with writing the whole class. After that, they have said create an object of book and call all the methods, print the object directly, and see what happens. So first, I need to create an object. So I'm just creating an object b1 equal book, and inside the consider they have asked for title, author, and price. So title can be Nandito Naruke. After that, I can just write the author name. So author name will be Humayun Ahmed, right? And in the price section, I don't know the exact price, so I'm just writing 300. So I have already created the object V1. After that, I can call all the methods, just like if I want to call set title, I need to give a new title, right? So V1 dot set title will be just like and inside this str cell, instead of calling this method, I'm trying to print v1 object. They have asked me to print the object name, right? So I have printed v1. So let's see what happens. See, this is the output of your Jochona 450 Humayun Ahmed. That means showing me the first title and the price and the author name, right? But how it's happening? I have not called str method, right? Why it's happening? It's happening actually whenever you are writing print the object name, it actually shows the just like if you don't have this method, if I comment out this method, check what it happens. See, it's printing the address of your P1 object. So actually there is a method called str. This is like this one, str, that has the memory address of this object in the built-in class. So whenever you are writing this method here, it's actually customizing this str method with this one, and it's printing the value of this one, what I have returned here, not the built-in returned string. So in the built-in returned string, they return us the memory address of the object. But if I write here like this, if I customize this one, it will show my customized one, not the previous one. So if you are trying to print p1 object, first it will check whether your class have this str method or not. If it doesn't have that, it will go for the parent class, just like there will be a parent built-in class, and search for the str method and print this type of string. And if it find the str method here, it will just directly go to this method and print whatever I have returned here. Okay, so I hope you have understood. And to check whether the set methods are working or not, you can just print before changing this title and price, print v1 first, and then change the title, price, and also the author name, and then print v1 again, so that you can check whether it's actually changing or not. See, first v1 is showing me Nandito Naroke 300 and Humayun Ahmed, and for second v1 is showing me Josuna 450. That means this set title and set price are working. So congratulations, you have learned how to create, how to design your own classes, own object, just like say checking the requirement. This is how actually you will do in your developing life. They will show you this type of scenario, and you have to understand what you need to write in your script or in your IDE. So, so next lecture you will learn about method and constructor overloading, also some reference sharing, value sharing that I have already mentioned in this video. So thank you for your patience and all the best for the next lectures. Happy learning.